Hey everybody, welcome to the channel.
Hey guys, we're your hosts, Em and Jay.
And today we have some special guests with us.
It's the Siblings Sassers, aka Miclaila.
And EJ.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us, fam.
Today we're going to be discussing the trailer for the 4th season of Netflix's She-Ra, along with our hopes for season 4. So it starts with them at the coronation for Queen Glimmer, and it seems like a very joyous occasion, but it seems kind of disrespectful to Angela. Plus everyone's in their prom outfit, which also felt a little off because it's a totally different setting. You'd think they would have given them new outfits for this occasion.
Hey, the queen's dead, let's put on our prom dresses.
Yeah, nobody seems very mournful.
Not only did they recycle those outfits for an occasion that doesn't really call for them, Adora's still wearing her Horde uniform this season.
Still in her Horde uniform.
Yeah, that's one thing I was curious about. It's weird that Adora is still in her Horde outfit, like, many months after she's been working, like, wholeheartedly for the rebellion at this point. At first I thought maybe they didn't want to change the designs now that it's iconic or whatever, but they just changed Glimmer's design now that she's in light of the Queen Glimmer thing. But Adora's still wearing her Horde outfit. Why? Why can't they change that?
Isn't that awkward too?
Yeah, like supporting the enemy with her attire.
I mean, if they're gonna redesign Catra and Glimmer, I don't see why they couldn't have done that with Adora too.
There's a shortage of fabric in Bright Moon.
But it would almost seem like it would kind of undermine people's first impression of her whenever they see She-Ra walking into places, because they're like, oh, is she working with the Horde? Why is she wearing that? I'm a little confused.
Yeah, and like remember back in, I think it was episode 3, when Adora went running around chasing Swiftwind, the guards attacked her because they thought she was with the Horde, but that was the only time that happened, and I think it would have made more sense if that had happened kind of throughout the series.
Yeah, it would have made sense for it to happen throughout the series, and then her to change her clothes because she didn't want that to happen.
Maybe I should stop wearing this.
It's my only outfit, though. Who knows, at this point it may have been a year since she left the Horde, and yet everyone still looks like they haven't aged a day, except Glimmer.
Glimmer and Catra look older now, but everybody else...
Yeah, I guess Catra now has that redesign. One of her arms is black, just like her deletion form.
Interesting.
Which is a bit interesting, because I guess she would remember what happened, because everyone else remembers what happened when the world was collapsing.
Hey, I got deleted.
I wonder if there was any lasting damage.
You think the first thing they would do is go find Entrapta and try to get Angela back from in between dimensions, but it seems like they're just moving on.
Yeah, that is a really good point, because apparently Entrapta would remember that she was zapped in the back, and that she was friendly with the Princess Alliance again during the world collapsing. You'd think that she'd be in prime time to return to the rebellion.
Why would she just immediately take position of queen when she knows that her mom is still out there and that she's not dead?
Because she doesn't have to get grounded anymore.
Yeah, now she's calling the shots and no one's telling her what to do.
Scary.
Yeah,
Yikes.
that's a great message to send to kids. If your parents are in trouble, don't worry about it.
Just trap them between dimensions and then you can do what you want.
Oh man.
That goes back to the whole situation with Glimmer's character development with her mother going back and forth and back and forth. It kept seeming like Glimmer was going to make progress and actually reconcile with her mother and learn how to behave better. And then every time she learned a lesson, quote unquote, she just, the next episode, went back on her word, snuck out again, or did something stupid. It was really frustrating, and now Angela's gone, so they don't have the option to bring that back or try to repair the relationship once again.
Yeah, exactly. Even though it's still very much an option. I mean, are they gonna leave her between dimensions? Because I wouldn't put it past Glimmer.
That's horrible.
I just imagined, what if Horde Prime opens up a giant portal to come through with a giant airship or something, and suddenly, like, on the windshield, just Angela.
Oh my gosh.
That would be one way to save her.
It seems like that arc never got completed between Angela and Glimmer.
It ended with her mom dying.
And it was hinted that her dad isn't dead either. It'd be cool if, like, season 4 would have been them going on this epic quest to get them back and, you know, get Entrapta and get the Princess Alliance really together, but instead they're just moving on and Glimmer's taking the role as queen. It just seems like this is falling to the wayside when it has potential. I mean, what happened to Entrapta? Is she on Beast Island and is just gonna be stuck there and have to get off herself? For me personally, the characters I'm most interested is Entrapta and Angela, but it seems like Angela in particular isn't really a priority. I'm sure they'll do something with Entrapta.
Because the show actually kind of cares about her a little bit.
Not like the characters do.
Right. So I am glad that they brought Huntara back. I just think it's so weird that they kind of dropped her.
Yeah.
I mean, are we gonna find out what she was doing, or are they just gonna ignore that?
Do we get some Huntara shorts?
Yeah, there are a lot of characters that they just create and then forget about. Like
the
Frosta.
kitchen staff!
Yeah.
Yeah, Frosta was introduced, or I mean, she was introduced a while ago, but she popped in at the beginning of season 2, was there for one or two episodes, disappeared for a while, came back in the D&D episode and didn't really do anything for the rest of the season. In season 3, I don't remember her doing anything. She just kind of pops in and out at random. We have Spinnerella and Natasa who still don't do anything. Although at the end of this particular trailer, we see Natasa throw a net, so hopefully we actually see them exist for once and do something.
Yeah.
After 3 seasons of them being in the background.
Yeah, or maybe they'll take part in a big battle like they did in the first season.
But they just have a lot of characters that they keep introducing, but then either not developing very well, not using the full potential of, or in other ways just forgetting that they exist.
Yeah, I mean, it's called the Princesses of Power, but they're not that utilized.
Yeah.
So it pretty much only comes down to the best friends squad. And even She-Ra, like, in the last 2 seasons, she didn't transform that much.
I would definitely understand it being more about the emphasis on Princesses of Power if the war felt more fleshed out and more real. But whenever we see the Horde actually taking actions, it seems like they have a small squad of like 4 guys, Lonnie, Kyle, Entrapta, and Catra, sent out to go do one small thing, and then the main squad of good guys just happen to be in the same spot, and they have a small little conflict of like 8 people, when the war is supposed to be multiple armies clashing and multiple kingdoms. So you'd think you'd see more of devastation on multiple sides and like an actual large-scale battle where there's strategy involved and princesses going out to go defend different locations. That would make it feel more like a fleshed out world, but it seems to me that they treat it more like a interpersonal conflict rather than having the war be the center stage. It's just kind of a background element, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like the conflict between Adora and Catra is more important to the narrative than the actual war.
Which definitely hurts the show, especially when every interaction between Adora and Catra is Adora points her sword at Catra and says, "Catra, you are defeated, haha." And then Catra says, "You wouldn't kill me," and Adora's like, "Oh yeah, you're right," and then lets her go for the 14th time. I don't know what they're gonna do with Catra in this new season, to be honest, because now she's gone past the point of no return, has made her choice to be insane, and Adora has kind of accepted that, finally. So I'm not sure what they're gonna do with her character from here on out. Honestly, it might have been better if they had just let her die, but of course, fan favorite cannot die.
So we had to sacrifice Angela instead.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I really hope they don't redeem her, because I feel like that's probably what they're going to do. She's tried to kill Adora multiple times. It seems like she's just too toxic. Yeah, and the entire world.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind if she was redeemed, because even though she's gone down to like this lowest of low points in terms of being willing to sacrifice literally everything that exists, that proves that she's at the lowest she could possibly be. If she was redeemed, I would just hope that they do it in a masterful way, but let's be honest, so far the character handling has not really been the best, and the character development has been a bit of a roller coaster of 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So I kind of don't think they could do it well, which is why I don't want them to redeem her, but if they do try to redeem her, I just hope that they would do it well. It seemed like her arc kind of ended at the climax of season 3. It would have been great if she had just actually been deleted and had some lasting consequence or something, rather than having everything just be reset to the status quo, because I'm not sure what she could possibly do now. If she's gonna remain the same bratty character she is, like how could she possibly continue getting worse or do anything more? I don't know how they could really make a satisfying place for her to go to now with her character. She can't really develop further evil than wanting to destroy everything.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll probably get a happy ending. It's just that she's done so much, and I'm worried that they're not going to even really acknowledge everything she's done. Like in Avatar: The Last Airbender, when Zuko had the chance to go with the Avatar gang, but then he betrayed his uncle and Katara and went to his sister. But it also made sense for his character because he'd been chasing honor for so long, and it's hard to let go of that. But, you know, he eventually did reconcile with the fact that he wasn't going to get his father's respect and love the way he wanted. So then he went back to his uncle, and like the way that was handled was really well done and well-rounded.
It was was so good. Oh my gosh, I love that character.
And it feels like they're probably gonna go for something similar with Catra, but they're just dropping the ball a lot.
I think what separates Zuko and Catra is that Zuko made decisions that had reasons behind them and were consistent with his character, whereas Catra shoots herself in the foot almost every opportunity she gets, and she lashes out at anyone who's near her, and just generally creates problems that she's facing for herself.
Yeah, because the whole reason that she got so salty was because Adora quote-unquote left her, even though she got invited to go with her and she declined. So it's kind of started from her own fault. But Zuko got burned in the face and banished, so nothing you could do about that.
Yeah, that's true. There were actually consequences with Zuko, and he took responsibility for his actions and apologized for them. She keeps insisting that it was Adora's fault, when Adora kept giving her the opportunity, but she kept choosing the Horde even though she knew they were evil and she knew they were abusive. And I understand that she wants power, but at the same time, she could get power in a different way that doesn't involve continuously going back to her abusers. That's also probably not a good message to send. Like, sometimes people do need to get out if they're in a bad situation and they can't just keep staying there and thinking it'll get better for them.
Because it definitely hasn't gotten better for Catra for very long, at least.
But it's totally gonna get better for Catra now that she's gonna be in charge of the Horde.
Because they haven't even redeemed Shadow Weaver, she's just randomly on the good guy's side.
Yeah, that wasn't explained very well, and the main characters were just very willing to take an insane risk for very little reason.
Oh, Glimmer, why?
Well, of course, that's kind of the summary of their plans almost every single time. But
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have worked if she had been a double agent, but instead they're bringing in Double Trouble. Given that there's already so many characters, and a lot of them really don't have the proper character development that they should have, and now you're gonna add more characters on top of that. Like, Shadow Weaver could have been this backstabbing double agent who was in it for herself, and maybe she could play the Horde too, and not just the heroes.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting if she was a double agent. It would have made a lot more sense.
yeah, in terms of wasted potential, not only with all the characters that they've added and introduced, there's also plot lines that they keep introducing and then doing nothing with. Why didn't they use the Runestone, the Black Garnet, which they also haven't mentioned or done anything with since Season 1, where they used it to hack the planet, which honestly, there was a lot of potential there. They still have the Black Garment, they still could do a lot of damage with that, and the heroes have done nothing to stop it. It kind of baffles me why they haven't used these elements that they keep bringing up for, well, dastardly plans and interesting plot lines, but then they decide to waste the potential or not revisit these plot elements, and instead they introduce new things, which they also forget about.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like there's not a lot of communication behind the scenes. Most of the episodes have different writers, and they aren't really communicating between episodes.
It actually really bothers me that there's been 26 episodes and they still haven't even asked what Grayskull is.
I know!
Oh my gosh.
Except in the Swiftwind short.
And it was a joke more than a serious question. Because technically Adora doesn't even know what she's fighting for or what she's calling on when she says that.
That's super weird.
There's very little information that the audience is actually given about a lot of the backstory elements. For example, even the first ones, all we know was they existed and they apparently were aliens. That's pretty much all we know. We really don't know a lot about the world building.
Yeah, and then they never explained how Hordak was able to open a portal before when Adora was a baby and why he can't do it again. Because aren't they supposed to be in this pocket dimension and Mara made it so they can't open portals anymore?
I'm so confused.
Me too.
Yeah, it really doesn't make sense.
Why did he open the portal the first time? It seemed like he was trying to get something, but then he ended up with Adora. I don't know, they didn't explain it very well. Like, how do you end up with this random baby?
I don't know.
Oops, I stole a child.
I was trying to get an evil weapon that could help me conquer. Oops, I instead grabbed a child. Whoops.
Yeah, like, how come we didn't send the message to Horde Prime that time?
Well, it seemed like Hordak was trying to say that he was going to prove to Horde Prime that he was still useful and that he shouldn't be cast aside by demonstrating his usefulness and conquering all of Etheria using nothing but a crashed ship. But then he sent the message to Horde Prime just now when he hasn't managed to defeat them yet. So I'm not sure whether he's like calling for backup now. I mean, the whole reason he was cast aside was because he has a defect and he's not good enough apparently, and Horde Prime was done with him. And yet Hordak was saying, alright, I'm going to send a message to him by conquering Etheria, and then messaging him and being like, yo dude, I am useful, look at all this cool stuff I did. And that was his attempt to impress Horde Prime and get recognition. But if he hasn't even accomplished that, I'm not sure why he was sending the message to begin with. It's just a little bit confusing.
Yeah, that's a good point. It seems like everything with Hordak is really underdeveloped, and they don't really seem to focus on what he's trying to do, even though that's pretty much the driving force behind the war. And it should
And
be
the whole
this
show,
major,
arguably.
yeah, and the show, and it should be a major plot point. But they kind of just skim over that whole thing with the portal, like his plan and everything. I don't know. It just there's a lot of potential there, and they just don't utilize it.
Yeah, and also, now that apparently Horde Prime has been contacted, I'm curious what they're going to do with it, because in this trailer, we don't see anything about Horde Prime. All we see is more robots. So what exactly happens with Horde Prime? It would be interesting if, like, Kacho is taken out of the picture, and then Hordak becomes kind of the new Katra in terms of Hordak is trying to impress Horde Prime and trying to gain his approval like Katra has been doing this entire time. That would be an interesting element to explore, and like have Hordak realize, oh wait, and maybe I shouldn't have treated Kacho so horribly or whatever. But instead, from this trailer, it looks like we don't see anything about Horde Prime. We just see a bunch more robots. Why would Horde Prime even want to conquer this planet that's now trapped in an alternate dimension?
So the next part is about, like, I think it's Double Trouble taking someone's place. This scene is played pretty comedically, with Mermista messing with lightning.
How are you doing that? I practice at home!
Why would she practice that at home?
And also how?
Yeah, that's
I guess she has water powers, but like, does that relate to lightning?
I don't think so.
Why can't
Clouds
she
have
just
water.
zap Katra in the face?
Yeah, why haven't the princesses just like all joined forces and gone on another undercover secret mission to just like take out Hordak and Scorpia
Yeah,
and
they could probably
Katra
infiltrate
and
the
all
Horde
of them?
again.
Like, they did it so easily the first time. Why haven't they bothered to try that again? It seems like everything they do as the Princess Alliance is reactionary to what the Horde does, rather than taking any initiative to actually stop the Horde.
Hey, they gotta plan Frosta's birthday party.
And go to Princess Prom, and play D&D.
Also, they're talking about a spy that's infiltrated the Princess Alliance, but the scene is played very comedically. It's taking away from the seriousness of the situation.
It's almost like they don't see it as that serious.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a big deal.
Well, of course, if we're going off the theory that the show writers use the war as kind of a backdrop for the personal drama, that they would see this as more of like a, oh no, one of our friends is betraying us or something, rather than a, oh no, we all could die.
Which is a shame.
It definitely wouldn't be a problem if they had that kind of story that they wanted to tell of friend betraying a friend, but if they put it in context of a war, presumably thousands of lives are at stake, you wouldn't want to treat that as something so casual.
Yeah, it seems like they wanted more of a drama than a war epic.
Can we have Kyle be a double agent for the rebellion and tell the Horde's information?
That really upset me when Bo just totally stabbed him in the back like that.
I know.
Bo is so rude!
They didn't even mention anything about it. Bo just shoots him,
Yeah,
or
they never
season
brought that
2,
up
episode
again.
whatever. Yeah, Bo doesn't even think to register that, oh wait, Kyle's a potential ally. He just shoots him down again and again. It seems like everyone just abuses Kyle for really no good reason.
My poor boy!
I don't understand why literally everyone abuses him and they don't even treat it as a problem. In fact, they seem to celebrate it. And it's really just disheartening. Imagine someone who's suffered from abuse or whatever, and they see this character and they're like, oh no, this poor boy, and then everyone treats it like a joke. I don't know what kind of message they're trying to send here, especially considering they're trying to be like giving positive role models for everything.
Yeah, it does send a really bad message. They keep saying that they're trying to be positive role models, but then when you look at the show, there's so much questionable content in there.
You should betray your mom and go out without permission for the 4th time and die in the desert.
And then they promised Bo's parents that they would, well, I guess they didn't promise, they didn't say anything when they told them not to go to the Crimson Waste, and then they did it anyway.
The Crimson Waste. Then that's where we have to go.
What? You can't just go into the Crimson Waste. It's a no man's land, a giant lifeless desert. No one's ever made it that far and come back alive.
Promise me, you kids will stay away.
And the Queen is really okay with us taking off like this? I would have thought a mission to the Crimson Waste would have been too risky for her.
Oh, she hates this idea. Which is why I didn't tell her we were going.
And then they didn't bring it up either, because technically he's betraying his parents too. So, you know, for all their talk about positive message for young kids and so on and so forth, it's kind of encouraging some questionable behavior.
Yeah, definitely.
But maybe they'll do better going forward. Probably not. I'm hoping that we get more lore in season 4. It seemed like in this trailer they were talking about the planet and secrets. So hopefully that'll shed some light on the whole situation.
Yeah, that'll definitely be interesting to learn more about the reasons for why characters are doing what they're doing in terms of the large-scale strategy and war, and hopefully it'll give us some information about how the world works.
Yeah. More information on the first ones, more information on Mara. Apparently they're gonna add her to the theme song, so I'm hoping that we find out more about her story.
All I'm saying is if they don't have the lizard, I'm gonna riot.
I think they forgot about it.
They really did,
Yeah.
which is sad.
I agree with you guys. I mean, I think you guys are the ones who brought it to my attention at first, but that is such a missed opportunity, because they treat Swiftwind as though he's the single most important sacred bond thing that every She-Ra ever should have, but apparently she can do that with every lizard.
Especially since she did it twice and it was an accident both times.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why isn't the lizard a sacred bond creature now? And why doesn't she just sacred bond with everything or anything? Can she do this on sentient creatures? Could she do this on Catra? I don't know.
He could have been a cool comic relief character and be cute and make Swiftwind less goofy. Like, he can still be comic relief, just not annoying.
Yeah.
There's definitely a difference between being comic relief and then just being an annoyance.
Maybe they'll explore more of her powers in the new season.
Then she can have a better handle on her powers and these things won't happen. I think a big problem with the show is just that it's really inconsistent. Like, it'd be nice if she would use more of her knowledge of the Horde against them.
Yeah, we haven't heard her talking to the rebellion and giving insight on the Horde very much at all. She just kind of doesn't tell them anything useful about the Horde or how they work or anything.
Honestly, yeah, it seems like the only time they've really utilized her knowledge of the Horde is that one time with Plumeria where she tried to give the password to the Horde base and it was wrong. And then when they were infiltrating the Horde, and that's basically it. They haven't really utilized the fact that Adora knows not only their tactics, but also their equipment capabilities and how they run their system. And to be honest, the Horde has done a terrible job of changing things up to make sure that this betrayal hasn't bitten them in the butt as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when they were in Plumeria and she gave the password and it ended up being wrong, and they said that it was changed months ago, but it would have made more sense if they changed it immediately so that if anyone did try to infiltrate the Horde with that password, they would know that that was the traitor, or at least working with the traitor. But that seemed like a missed opportunity. And why would she know an outdated password? She was just promoted.
It seemed like a couple days had passed, and yet they said, oh, that password was changed months ago.
Yeah, that was weird.
Nobody told her.
The timeline seems to be rather inconsistent.
There was Fluttery Nathan.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see them.
I'm kind of interested in seeing what they do with Flutterina, but she looks like this little kid who's tagging along, and I feel like they already did that with Frosta.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they should have just added that character instead of forcing Frosta's personality to do a complete 180.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Alright, the two main things that I care most about in this series are giving justice for the lizard and justice for Kyle.
Justice for Kyle!
Kyle does not deserve
Kyle Protection Squad!
At least Catra's being abused by the Horde and she understands it and chooses to be abused by the Horde, whereas Kyle's being abused by the Horde and he wants to get out of it, and then Bo just refuses to let him.
Oh, no!
Yeah, exactly. And it's weird that they never brought that up again.
I'm so sad.
Great friendship message.
Best friend squad! Except if you're Kyle.
So I guess that's all the thoughts that I had about She-Ra Season 4. Hopefully it's good though. I mean, I still would be happy if it turns out great, but I mean, I don't have high hopes given what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, part of me feels like there's so many plot holes and missed opportunities already that they can't necessarily salvage. They can just keep going the path they've been going.
Yeah.
That about wraps up our thoughts for Season Season 4. Hoping for the best, but expecting more of the same. Thanks for watching, everybody, and thank you so much to EJ Monkey and Miclaila for joining us.
Thanks for having us. Woo!
It was so much fun.
And if you enjoyed this video, you can leave a like and check out EJ Monkey and Miclaila's channels. They'll be linked in the description below. We also did a collab on Miclaila's channel you can check out. And subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone. Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.